Hey folks, how you all doing? My name is Lloyd, or Mr. Hats as I'm known in the VC from my previous channel. Any new subscribers, which I have a few since I've posted a couple of videos lately, that is due to the fact that I sometimes wear silly hats during my videos. I always wear a hat, but sometimes I wear some really silly ones, so I've been nicknamed Mr. Hats. Anyway, it's that time of the year where I rank, sort of list, the new release albums I purchased the previous year, in this case 2025. Didn't buy many albums this year by my standards. I think it was 39 a couple of years ago, around 28, 30 last year from memory. This year I only purchased 15 new release albums. So I'm going to try and rank them in some sort of order from my least favourite to favourite. So at number 15 on my list we go to Taylor Swift, Life of a Showgirl. So it's 13 vinyl records and 2 compact discs this year that I purchased that were new releases. This was Taylor Swift's 12th studio album. It's also the biggest selling album of 2025. Sold somewhere between 5 and 6 million actual copies worldwide, so was a big album. It's very pop leanings on this album. There's a couple of soft rock tunes as well. It's a long way removed from her indie folk, lo-fi albums of the last few years, like Evermore and Folklore, etc., which I love. The biggest issue I have with this album is that it all sounds much of a muchness to me. There's very little variation. It's probably the weakest of her 12 albums, unless I listen to them all in a row, but that's where it stands at the moment. Favourite tracks on here: the lead-off single, The Fate of Ophelia, and Wood. This album comes in at 6 out of 10 from me. At number 14 on my list, we're going to go to Lady Gaga with Mayhem. This is her 6th solo album. It's her 11th if you count collaborations and movie soundtracks. This one harks back to her dance style of her first couple of albums. There's also a couple of 1970s funk influenced tracks on here, and of course the brilliant duet with Bruno Mars, Die With A Smile. Yeah, I think I've had an overload of Lady Gaga in the last couple of years. Last year she released 2 albums, one a solo album, and then she had the soundtrack with Joaquin Phoenix to the Joker movie. So it's 2 albums last year, 1 this year. I think I've had a bit of an overload, so this one may rank a bit differently sometime in the future. But as it stands at the moment, my favourite tracks on here are the brilliant Die With A Smile, which, as I said before, was a duet with the brilliant Bruno Mars, and Zombie Boy, which has one of those 1970s funk type vibes going on. The album comes in at 6.2 out of 10 for me. Number 13 on my list, an album that doesn't sound as good now as it did when I first heard it and purchased it, and that is Pink Elephant by Arcade Fire. They're an alt rock / pop band from Canada, sorry, not California. It's their 7th studio album. These are one of my go-to bands over the last 20 years, so I always buy their albums, always impressed. There's more synthesized based music on this one than previous albums. It's more mellow and more repetitive than their previous albums, and not as good. As I said, when I first heard it 6-7 months ago, whatever it was, still good, but probably their weakest album for me. Favourite tracks: Year of the Snake and Circle of Trust. This one comes in at 6.3 out of 10. Don't ask me where I get these 0.3s, 0.4s. It's just something I know roughly what an album's going to be when I sort of score them, but then to separate them I've got to give them a 6.2, 6.3, whatever. Number 12 on my list, the Sherlocks. Everything Must Make Sense. These guys are from the UK, England. It's their 5th studio album. It's the first album that I've listened to by them. I'm hearing a slight Arctic Monkeys, slight Oasis, slight Supergrass vibe going on. Now that doesn't mean they do sound totally like them. I'm just giving you guys a bit of an idea of the sort of sounds they've got, because I can't really explain some things too well. I'm not a musician, so I give you sort of sounds likes. So if you like those bands, you'll probably like this album. It's a consistent album. There's no real highs on this album, and there's certainly no lows. It's just a consistently good album. Favourite for me, Man on the Loose and Here Comes the Rain. This one comes in at 6.5 out of 10. Number 11 on my list, we go to Elton John and Brandi Carlile. Who believes in albums? Who believes in angels? This is Elton's 47th album if you count collaborations and soundtracks. It's Brandi's 10th album. Mainly duets on here in the soft rock Americana style. They harmonise really, really well together. Their voices blend so well. It's fairly upbeat and positive and laid back, which is what you want a good album to sound like, a feel-good album. Elton sounds better vocally than what he's done in a good 15 years, in my opinion, and the songs are better than probably most of what he's done over the last 15-18 years as well. 3 tracks on this album I don't care for, but there's also 3 that I absolutely love, which sort of balances the whole thing out. Favourites on here, the opening track, The Rose of Laura Nyro, who I didn't even know who Laura Nyro was till I heard this album and checked into it, so I've learnt something from this. And Elton's closing track, which is a piano ballad, When This Old World Is Done With Me, which would be a great career finishing final track on an album for him to end his career with, in my opinion. Look, it's not classic Elton John by any means, this album. It's a good album though. Brandi, don't know much about Brandi's solo career. I've heard bits and pieces. She's okay, but together they work really well, and this album comes in at a respectable 7 out of 10 from me. Number 10 on my list, we're going to go to Damiano David with Funny Little Fears. This guy's from Italy. He's the former frontman of Italian rock band Maneskin. They come to prominence really by winning Eurovision in 2021. Predominantly rock pop on here. Hearing vocals similar to Nate Bruce from Fun, if you remember those guys, and Ozzy Vance Joy also at times. Songs are quite catchy for the most part and happy, uplifting. Favourites on here, Next Summer and Tangerine. 7.2 out of 10 from me. Excuse me. Number 9 on my list, we're going to go to the Terrys with their self-titled album. These guys are from Australia. It's their 3rd album. Think indie pop, indie rock and indie folk for what this album is. This is another one where I'm going to say sounds like Arctic Monkeys. It's got a slight vibe, not early Arctic Monkeys, but they're more modern sounds, and a bit of Noel Gallagher type guitar on here as well. Good mix of different tempos to keep it moving nicely. Has a hidden track on here which is untitled. I do not like, pardon me, hidden tracks. They just irk me. I don't want to hear a hidden track. If they can record it, get it onto the master and actually, press it onto a record, they know the track exists. Why can't they just write it on the album cover and on the label? I just don't get it. In the old days it was probably a bit of a novelty, but that's worn off. But that hidden track called Hidden Track is a really good song also. Favourites on here, a song called Spezul, Spezul, or ZIAL, so not special, and Catalonia Dreams, if you want to give those songs a yeah, a bit of a listen to see what this album sounds like. Comes in at 7.4 out of 10 for me. Next up at number 8, my second CD and final CD, Wet Leg Moisturiser, from the Isle of Wight, second album, alt pop, indie pop, slightly more diverse musically than the debut album from a couple of years ago. A few more hard edge guitar sounds throughout the album as well. Still very catchy for the most part, but I still prefer the debut album. Whether that's because I've heard it a lot more than this, I don't know. But this one just didn't grab me as much as the debut did on its first listen. Still a really good album. But yeah, I don't think it's quite as good, but it's still pretty good. Favourites, Catch These Fists, which was, I believe, the lead-off single from memory, or was it CPR? The lead-off single, I can't remember. Both are very good though. And Davina McCall, this album comes in at 7.6 out of 10 for me. Number 7 on my list, we're going to go to this one. Surprise Chef with their album Superb. These guys are from Australia. It's their 4th studio album. It's a fully instrumental album. I'm not normally a fan of instrumental albums. I do like the odd instrumental piece of music, but yeah, it's highly unusual for me to pick an album that is fully instrumental. Hearing hints of jazz, soul, R&B and hip-hop throughout this album, and they create a fusion of sounds, mixing all those different styles with some really cool, slick grooves. If you want to sounds like, if you've got the album Play by Moby, any of you guys, some of the music on there has the same vibe as the music on this album. For a comparison, favourite bits of music on here, Consulate Case and Slippery Dip, if you want to give those two a listen. Album comes in a really, really good 7.7 out of 10 from me. Number 6 on my list, we're going to this one, Miles Smith. It's called A Minute, a Moment. He's from England or UK, whatever you want to call it. It's folk pop, pretty catchy stuff. Probably best describes this one anyway. Initially this was released as 2 separate EPs in the UK. A Minute, which is the back half of this album, 7 tracks. This was released in the UK in 2024. The first half of the album, which is called A Moment, contained 6 tracks and was released in the UK in early 2025. It was released as an LP as opposed to 2 EP mini LPs across Europe and Australia, maybe North America too, not sure about that. I'm hearing George Ezra's style on this album, bit of Vance Joy and some early Mumford & Sons, like from their Sigh No More type era. Lots of toe tappers on here, full of catchy hooks. This guy really has it. Be nice for him to do a proper album in the future as opposed to 2 EPs put together. Favourite tracks, Gold and Whisper. This one comes in at 7.8 out of 10. So number 5 on my list, we're going to go to these guys, My Morning Jacket, with the album This is the first studio album of theirs where they actually have images of themselves on the cover. Usually they're fancy painted covers or images, but not actually the band. These guys are from Kentucky. It's their 10th studio album, alt rock band. This album is more radio friendly and commercial sounding than their previous efforts, though over the last couple of albums they've actually become more, I think, radio friendly anyway, so they're gradually heading that way anyway. Love the fact that Jim James's vocals are in the foreground on this album, which has happened over his last couple of their last couple of albums. His voice always used to be sort of in the mid-ground and sometimes in the background as opposed to the foreground, and he has a beautiful silky smooth voice, which deserves to be heard. The album's split into two halves. The slower half is side A, and the more up-tempo side is side B, or side 2 of the vinyl. Jim James's vocals on the track I Can Hear Your Love, which is on side A, it's one of the slower tracks, actually sound eerily similar to Roy Orbison. If you give that track a listen, you'll go, oh my god, this sounds so close to Roy Orbison. Anyway, yeah, a really good track considering they're 10 albums into a career. Favourites on here, I Can Hear Your Love, which is the one I just mentioned, and Out in the Open. This one comes in at 8 out of 10. I love this album, and I love the 4 albums moving forward from there. Number 4 on my list, we're going to go to Of Gods and Men with the album Stare. Lead singer, guitarist, songwriter, co-producer of the album is our VC's one and only Mike Grogan, PC31, the Vinyl Policeman. So yeah, head over to his channel, subscribe to him. You can buy the album from him as well. It's from the UK. It's this band's debut album. He's also in a Kinks covers band called Kinked. So he's got a pedigree of proper rock and roll in his veins. Anyway, this album is post-punk, indie rock, classic rock. I would even go as far as to say mod revival in places. There's hints of The Clash here, which are one of his favourite bands of all time, if not his favourite band. I can hear hints of The Jam in here as well, with that mod revival thing, and little bits of the Kinks here and there as well. Just little spurts of those 3 bands. It's the stuff he's grew up listening to and loved, so it's obvious it's going to come through in his music. These are well crafted songs. The production is crystal clear, which means I can listen to a track and go, you know what, I'm going to listen to the bass on this song, and you can hear it. You can hear the bass, exactly what you're hearing, or rhythm, or lead, or drums, or whatever you want. The keyboards, it makes no difference. You can pinpoint what you want to listen to. It's probably is my most listened to album of 2025. I've probably heard this, I don't know, 10 times maybe already, and that's unusual for me to listen to an album that amount of times when I buy it through the year. But yeah, this one just grows and grows on me each listen. Favourite tracks on here, they're the tracks that bookend the album. Track 1, side A, Flawed, absolutely brilliant rocker, and then you've got this real brooding song at the end of the album, Kingdom Come, absolutely incredible. Great stuff, Mike. 8.2 out of 10 from me. Leaves my top 3 albums of the year. Number 3, we're going to go to Lennon Wells with their debut album Blink and You'll Miss It. These guys are from Tasmania. It's their debut album. I actually went straight to the band to buy this album, and there you are. Lennon Wells actually signed it for me, which was really good. Indie rock pop band. Can hear slight hints of Talking Heads on the first couple of tracks. They don't sound exactly like Talking Heads, just little bits you can go, oh my god, that sounds so much like Talking Heads. There's some Franz Ferdinand sort of influences happening, bit of REM as well for my ears. Love the sounds here. It's so refreshing to hear a young band that is so good, and their music is so well defined and written. They seem like a young band, probably in their mid-20s, so they probably had a bit of time playing around the scenes. But their debut album is absolutely fantastic. I'm looking forward to what they can release next. Favourite tracks on here: No Kings and Honey, You'll Always Be Home. There's also little hints. Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay. Talking Heads, Franz Ferdinand, and REM are probably all I need to say on that one. But this one comes in at 8.3 out of 10 from me. Number 2 on my list, another one of my favourite artists. We're going to go to Dope Lemon with the album Golden Wolf. Dope Lemon is an Aussie artist. It's the 13th career album for Angus Stone under various names, and his 5th under the Dope Lemon moniker. It's very light and breezy. It's very summery and dreamy. That's all it is, just a nice little light breezy album. There's hints of soul, there's hints of jazz, there's hints of pop, there's hints of electronic or even world music, and they all blend really nicely. Probably his most radio friendly commercial sounding album under the name Dope Lemon, and it's certainly a good place for people who may be curious about Dope Lemon to start here and then probably work backwards. Favourite tracks on here for me: Yamasuki Yama Yama, sorry, and She's All Time. That album comes in at 8.5 out of 10. That leaves one album. The album that is my favourite new release of 2025. We're going to go to Viagra Boys with their album Viagra Boys. These guys are from Sweden. It's their 4th album. It's the only one I've ever heard. Sort of post-punk vibe. If you want sounds likes and sort of influences, I would be looking at Ween, Weezer, Cake, even Eagles of Death Metal. One track on here has a Nick Cave sort of Dig Lazarus Dig vibe happening, so it's that semi singing, semi narration style vocal. It has enough alt rock and punkish sounds throughout the album without coming across as being too crass. It's just it's authentic. It's an authentic album, worth a listen for sure, as are all of the albums on my list, depending on what you like. Favourite tracks on this album are Man Made of Meat and Best in Show Part 4. This one comes in at 8.5 like out of 10. Like the Dope Lemon album, I really couldn't split them, no matter how much I tried. Anyway guys, that's my list, or my ranking of the 15 studio albums I purchased that were released in 2024. There was one I wanted to get but haven't been able to get it, and that's the latest by original Kiss drummer Peter Criss with his self-titled album that was released middle of December, and yeah, just haven't been able to get that yet, so it is what it is. Anyway guys, leave some comments in the comments section below, give me the thumbs up, hit that subscribe button down there if you haven't already done so, to let you know what's coming up in the future. And yeah, just leave comments, let me know what you think of these albums, if you have any. If you think I've got some of the sounds likes wrongs or whatever, just let me know there also. Till next time guys, stay safe, take care, all for now, catch you around, and bye folks.